How's it going, everyone? This is Fine Gaming Conserve, and welcome back to another video of Let's Play Mortal Online 2 Beta. And today we're running version 0.1.7.9. Now this is another huge mega patch, and so it's too long for me to actually go through the whole, the very long patch notes with you, but I do have a link in the description below that will take you to the patch notes on Steam. It's almost like a novel length patch notes. Oh, they have Wolf Peach now in Fabrenum. Yeah, Fabrenum has become like the kind of the alright. Not good to hang around here. It's like the alleyway. Alright, so he's following me. Oh no. Yeah, so Fabrenum has become like like a farm, the place where you can gather vegetables of all kinds in Myland. Alright, so today we're doing another guide video, and today I just want to do a short video on. Hopefully it can be a short video. I think it might end up being a long one, but I'll try and keep it short. Today we're going to talk about the subject of how to leave town safely and not get jumped. Now, of course, when I say not getting jumped, it is it's a relative term, because in this game there is no such thing as you can leave safely. In an absolute sense, there is no such thing as that. So I can only give you, good advice and tips that I often use when I try and leave town. Because if you don't know this already, leaving town is actually one of the most dangerous and hardest things to do in this game. I think in Mortal Online 1 it was the same as well, but with Mortal Online 2. It's become even more dangerous. So right now there's a lot of people going in and out of town. So the first thing you should always remember is that do not be seen. And so right now I'm going to take a page out of a Thieves Handbook. The Thieves Handbook on how to be a thief. So the reason why you don't want to be seen is for obvious reasons. You do not want to let anyone know that you are leaving town. So if someone sees you leaving town, then one of two things can happen. One is that nobody will think too much of it and they'll let you just be on your way. Two, someone who has seen you will be someone who is on the lookout for victims. You can see some birds flying in the hills there. I'm not sure you can see it. So either they are looking for someone to gank on their way out, or they are a lookout, someone who's watching for other people. So they can be a spotter for player killers waiting outside. So either way, you do not want anyone to know that you are leaving town. So the best thing you can do is not to be seen. And now I've never played Thief, but I kind of I've had many encounters with thieves. So in the past, back in MO1, so I kind of I've kind of developed my own sort of countermeasures against the thief, and and the best way to counter a thief is not to not to let them know what you're up to. And so the same thing with leaving town. You do not want anyone to know that you are leaving town unless you're with friends that you trust. So always try and find ways to sneak out without being seen. So I'm gonna try and make my way to Tindrum, because I do know that Tindrum has been overhauled or actually expanded several times. So I'll just thought I had a horse. That's alright. I'm supposed to have a horse here, but for some reason my horse is gone. Okay, I might actually just yeah, I'll try and report this bug, because it's not supposed to happen. Has not been a wipe, so my horse technically should still be in the Equerry, as you saw in my last video where I brought a horse back to Fabenham, so it should not happen. Okay, so moving on, we'll just try and I'll try and go to Tindrum. On foot. So if you're able to sneak out without being seen, then try and avoid the roads, as I've said many times. And you've always got to be looking out in all directions. This is a first-person only game, so if you want to survive and you want to, avoid being detected, then you've got to be the first person to detect or spot other players. So I've said in my first video of the game guide series, spot them before they spot you. That's the advice that I gave. And so do have eagle eyes, and always be on, listen out for footsteps and any visual or audio cues that might alert you to another player's presence. And by the way, I'm running this on cinematic, and that's because recently I got a RTX 3070. So, oh, did you just see something? Oh, it's a Greywood. I thought it was aiming at a player or something. So yes, I'm running on cinematics, so it looks very, very good. And so yes, there are birds now, which is good. And so this patch does introduce a lot of things. New creatures, and also bears can now wear bags. So it's first time in Mortal Online. Bears can now be equipped with equipment, bags and so forth. I'm not sure about whether there's going to be, rideable bears, but, who knows? You never know. We've had Mulvers that can wear equipment and be, I think you can ride them, I'm not too sure. Can't remember whether they could be ridden in Mortal Online 1, but we'll see. In Mortal Online 2, whether we can ride bears. I'll just go through it this way. Alright, so when you're trying to leave town, it's always important to keep an eye out on the chat window. First of all, so if you see on the chat window, if you see people saying that there's a player killer camping the gates, or there's someone who's just got murdered not far from whatever Tindrum, Fabenham, or whatever town you're leaving from, then just keep an eye out for any hints on the chat window, because that will give you that will be a quick indicator of what has happened recently. So usually I think when people get killed, one of the first things they do is oh, nice, the purple flower. Okay, we have them now. This is awesome. This is the plant that you sell to get lots of. Let's see how much it's worth. Oh wow! So if you just gather a whole lot of this, you could make. All right. So just gathering small handfuls of this, you get like a quarter of a 1/3 of a gold coin's worth. So so yeah, there you go. If you're looking for the purple flower, there it is. So yeah, one of the first things people do when they get killed is they tell everyone. They say that there's been a player killer, and they're over somewhere, wherever it is, and they'll tell everyone that there's a player killer. Okay, so I'm gonna try and I don't want to go too high up. It just makes it harder to get back down later. So that's the first thing. Keep an eye out on the chat window for any signs that there may be a player killer about. And secondly, I think I've mentioned this before. In one of my earlier, one of my game guide videos from Mortal Online 1. This was many years ago, and that is, if you're going to leave town, don't tell anyone. Don't do a yell, or don't say that. Don't yell out to everyone that you're going to wherever. Oh, this is water. This is good. It's like a little. It's quite nice. I think the graphics have gotten better and better. So definitely don't tell anyone where you're going. And on the flip side of that, do not, I think in this game there are many ways for player killers to dupe, or I should say trick, unsuspecting players into leaving town, so that the player killer can just, basically gank them, either alone or by, several of their friends. So if you, let's say you're asking a question on help chat and you're saying, oh, where can I find X or Y? If the person says, I'll show you, come out with me. Come on my ass, it's okay. Yeah, I'm kind of on the lookout to see what, new plants SV has added. And so, do not, be very careful if players try to lure you outside, because once they lure you outside of the outside of guard zone, then you're pretty much defenseless. So, if you get lured outside to, somewhere like this, then don't blame anyone, because you chose to leave town and to follow a complete stranger that you may or may not know that you don't know whether he's a player killer or not. So just be aware of that. And the reason why I'm traveling to Tindrum now, because I want to show you the flip side of leaving town, and that is entering town, which is also another equally dangerous part of traveling. So I'm running the risk of getting hunted by direwolves, which are now present in this game. It's probably a good idea for me to have my spear out. Alright, I'm going to try and navigate this carefully, because alright. Let me just check carefully. So here you go. It's you're checking the horizons, checking to make sure that I suppose you could apply the same principle, spot other players before they spot you. You could also apply that to spotting other creatures before they, you come within aggro range. Why is this springbok following me? I'm kind of curious. He's not attacking me, but he's just following me around. I don't know why. You're very friendly. I don't know why you're following me. Get away from me. You're drawing attention to me. Yeah, I hope this is not controlled by a dev, because normally creatures don't just follow you for no reason. I don't know whether Sebastian or Henrik is secretly controlling this springbok and go away. Anyway, so those are tips for to avoid getting as you travel when you're leaving town. And so going back to leaving town, I think it's also if there's a lot of players standing around at the entrance, you might need to do a little bit of deception work. So what I mean by that is you need to try and weave your way in and out of their view, so as to make them think that you're not leaving town, but rather you're just going somewhere else. So if that makes any sense. So let's say there's a few players, armored, mounted players, standing at sitting around at the entrance. Then what you might want to do is try and either make your way out through another entrance if there is one, or you try and use natural or man-made obstacles to obscure their line of sight to you, so that once you leave, they won't know where you left. So let's say you're leaving from the Fabrenum, the entrance where the Fabrenum stables are. Try and go through the stables and leave through the back door. See, that way the players standing at the front of the entrance think that you're going into the Fabrenum stables, but they don't realize that you've sneaked out the back way. So why is this thing following me like non-stop? It's very, very strange. It's just like a new AI behavior. I might as well tame you. Alright. Spear out. Okay, so the graphics do look very, very nice on cinematic. I've never experienced it, at this kind of frame rate. I think I'm getting about 70 frames per second on everything on cinematic. Yeah, there's a creature there. You gotta watch out for that. And I think they've added shore prowlers and also campodons now in this patch. So, and also I should point out that SV has delayed the launch of Mortal Online 2 till the 25th of January 2022. So that's another 4 months away, roughly. Which I was a little sad, but at the same time, I'm supportive of that, because it means that the game will be. That's a pig. The game will be hopefully in a better state than it is now. They were planning to launch by I think 26th of October or something, but that has now been changed, and they're no longer going to launch into early access. Instead, they're just going to keep it in closed beta, and then on the 25th of January 2022, then it will just go straight into full release. So there will not be an early access or anything like that. It'll be full release, and everyone will be it'll be the full release, the proper launch. And he looks like he's stuck. Alright, let's get out of here before he catches up with me. Yeah, it's a rather strange AI. He just decided to follow me out all this way. Yeah, I'm really curious. I don't know whether it's controlled by a dev, because I do know that if I'm not mistaken, devs can take control of creatures. So if they can, then I do wonder whether it's Sebastian or Henrik or any one of the staff at SV. I don't want to meet any creatures along the way, because that'll be the end of me. Because if you don't know this already, wolves, when they attack in packs. And there's usually a dire wolf mixed in with the usual wolves, and so if I get if they come for me, then pretty much I'll be done for. Oh, this is not. Right, this is a good trip out in the countryside. But I'm just a little bit apprehensive that there might be okay, so there is a path here, so maybe I can just follow the path. And if I get jumped, well, so be it. Normally, back in MO1, I would have just so many different flowers now. Is this a new one? Back in MO1, I would have just taken the gone off the beaten path. Went into the wilderness, but with wolves hanging around here, and not just in one, but in packs, and the other thing is they can now communicate with each other. So let's say you're attacking a bandit, then they can actually communicate with their friends. So I'd imagine the same thing would apply for wildlife as well. So it kind of forces me to stick to the path now, and so I'm kind of so this is another thing. I suppose you could call this video not just traveling, but not just leaving town, but also traveling, which is what I'm doing. So you may find that traveling on the footpath is preferable, although not recommended. So you're kind of SV is kind of just making everything harder, for the traveler, and to be honest, I actually like it this way, because I don't like games that are just that give you the option of having a safe way out, because then everyone would just take the safe way out, and that's just human nature. With back in Ultima Online, they introduced Tremel. That was the in EA's mind, I think they thought that if by giving people an option of safety, then then the game can have both the PvP crowd and the PvE crowd. But as it turns out, everyone just left for Tremel, and they abandoned Felucca, and Felucca just basically became a PvP ground for for people who wanted PvP anytime, anywhere. So if you give people the safe option out, then people will take it. So I'm glad that SV is not going down that road, but instead they're sticking to their hardcore roots, which is what this game is all about. Oh, 86, 87 frames per second on cinematic. This is cool. So RTX 3070 is really performing well, and it's very little noise, and so I'd imagine this graphics card will last me for a very, very long time. I do not intend to upgrade for 5 years at least. Am I still going the right way? Oh, yeah, I think I am. So, okay, there's the Tindrum Tower. So I'm going to Tindrum because I've seen on the patch notes how it's been expanded quite considerably. So I'm going there to also show you something else, about traveling, and also when you're entering town. Because I think this is the one of those things that have gotten people, into rage quitting. I think from time to time, I do see people on the forums complain that I've been killed while leaving town or something along those lines. Which I think this is like a thing that you need to come up with a way to fix that problem on your own, because like so many things in this game, the game does not hold your hand, and you're basically left to pit yourself against the ingenuity and the whatever other players may come up in their bid to outsmart or overpower you through whatever means they can. And in this case, by PvPing you while you leave town, so they can gank you and take your stuff. I think this is one of those things that you need to learn to take care of yourself. I can only give you my advice and tips, but it's not something that I can. It's not something that the game can just arbitrarily prevent. Because that's not what this game is about, and if you're looking for a safe place to be, this is not it. This game is not the place. It's a very beautiful world. I mean, just look at the graphics, everything maxed out. It's a very beautiful world, but it's one that it's one that will quite easily, there's like 100 different ways for you to die in this game. Okay, so hopefully we are getting close to breaking my own cardinal rule here, but I kind of need to do that because of the wolves and of the bandits, and so I think there might be a wolf in there. I think there might be a wolf. Okay, so now there are signs. So there's Meduli's that way, and Favoritum is this way. Okay, so sticking to the path might be, in my assessment, in my opinion, right now, might be the safer option, because once you're out in the wild, then there's it's very unlikely that you'll bump into another player, unless you're really, really unlucky, and if the player happens to be out to kill people, to kill other players. So you'd have to be really, really unlucky to actually run into another player, out here in the wild. Okay, so we are nearing Tindrum's eastern gate, and wow, look at this. They've really made a lot of changes to this place since the last time I came here. Okay, so once you approach a town, or in this case Tindrum, you've really got to conserve your stamina for that one last, for that dash into town. So when you're near town, just make sure that you've got enough stamina to either ride or run into town, because I think the area near the exit or the entrance of a town is usually the place where people get killed. So you want to make sure that you have enough stamina to quickly get yourself into town and to avoid any unfavorable encounters. So if you're traveling to Tindrum from Favenham, then most likely you will probably end up using the Eastern Gate entrance, and we'll have a look and see what they've done. So this is quite new. Alright, so after that's still closed, but once it opens, then you can use that entrance to get in. Okay. And so specifically with Tindrum, I think it's a good idea to hug the walls, because most likely, if there's PKers waiting to gank players, as the players who are coming in or out Tindrum, they're most likely going to be mounted PKers. So if you are going to travel to Tindrum or leave Tindrum, you may want to consider hugging the walls, because mounts have to turn. They have a very bad sort of turning rate, unlike players. When they're on the move, it's very hard for them to just turn on a dime. So if you hug the walls, then it's going to make it much harder for them to just take just dominate the it's harder for them to dictate how and where they're going to strike you. They can still hit you and kill you, of course, but it'll be a little bit harder for them. So if you hug the walls, then it might give you a little bit of opportunity and area for you to stand your ground and maybe try and attack them back, to fight back. And hopefully, if you do enough damage to them, then they will run away and leave you alone. Because the one thing that I think mounted players do not want is to be stationary. And once their mount hits, a solid object, then they will be forced to stop, and that's where they will be vulnerable. So if you hug the walls, then let's say they're coming at you from here, then if they're coming at you, then you can sidestep, hopefully sidestep quick enough that they will actually run into the walls, and that'll give you an opportunity to hit them once or twice before they go and make another strafing run for you. Okay, so that's closed as well. And this is and definitely don't go down there, because you get stuck. Yeah, might be something that SP wants to fill in. And it's that's clearly a broken fence. It's not a misplaced texture. It's actually intended. Okay, so definitely conserve your stamina when you're near the entrance, so that you can make a run for it. So this is not yet, but once you... Okay, so that's the entrance there. And definitely have your weapon out. Be ready for combat, because in a combat situation, every split second counts. The time it takes for you to draw your weapon might be all the time it takes to make the deciding factor between whether you live or die. And definitely use any obstacles and natural terrain to your advantage. Let's say this ditch right here, this little well, not a ditch, but it's kind of like a little lowered terrain. To if a mount were to come in here, then they're gonna have to negotiate this. So definitely use every kind of natural obstacle to your advantage to increase your chances of surviving. Okay, so definitely, like now, sprint. Do not stop. Just keep holding down sprint and make your way into town. And what is this? Okay. Alright, so I think this is where I'll leave it. So thank you very much for joining me today, and hope that you found this video useful. And so I will be back for future videos. And so just a little update. I'm planning to keep making these game guide videos until the game goes into full release on the 25th of January 2022. At that point, I will probably begin a new series. Sorry, not a new series, but a new season of my Let's Play Mortal Online 2. So just as a I think I've waited almost 2 years for this game to go from alpha to full release. So it's been a very long wait. So I feel that going to a full release, it's probably a good idea to to make a new season video videos. So yes, I'm most likely going to be starting a new season when that time comes, and so I look forward to seeing you then. So until next time, hope that you can so please do remember to press like, and also comment if you have any questions or comments, and please share this video, and also please subscribe. So thank you very much for watching. This is Fine Gaming Connoisseur. Take care and have a good day.